Not only have I experienced these adverse childhood experiences early on in my life, they started very, very young. I never knew that these experiences were dysfunctional, they were harmful, that they were wrong. All I knew is that there were feelings of love, acceptance, belonging, struggle, pain, and a loss. I had parents, grandparents, uncles, cousins who were doing the best that they could with no services, no support, or guidance. Never once did they intentionally create these traumatic events, but they were acting out what they knew. And all along, there were little eyes watching. And as I tried to go into Head Start, and I was 3 years old, and I hit another kid. I went to the dramatic play area, and I wanted a swing. And I think about as I work with children now, and I have a degree in early childhood development, and I've worked in this field for 11 and a half years. I've been able to connect the dots, and it's not been a picnic. I think about 3-year-old Francesca who wanted a swing, and I looked at the other child swinging, and I was never taught to use my words, but I thought, he took my swing. I went inside and I grabbed an iron from the dramatic play, and I go up behind him on the swing, and I hit him over the head and knock him off the swing, and falls off, and I didn't know that that was wrong. I didn't feel, and I got on the swing and I started swinging. And the teachers came up and took a hold of me and said, "Why did you do that? What is wrong?" And I'm looking at them, and they set me aside, and they called my father, who was struggling with alcoholism and his own traumatic childhood, who led him to die at 47 years old. He was a hardworking man, but who suffered very traumatic events. And he picked me up and he looked at me and he said, "There's nothing wrong with you. Do you understand me?" And I looked at him and I said, "Okay, Daddy." And he said, "We don't need this place. Let's go." I never knew that those occurrences in my childhood would lead me to stand out and led me to say that I would fail in school, that it was setting me up for the juvenile justice system, all of which I did. I spent 6 years of my childhood in the juvenile justice system. And also I failed in school in many ways. But none of us had ever knew, as research was going on, that these adverse childhood experiences, experiencing this would have such a dramatic effect on how my brain was developing and just my life's trajectory. I first started to link the dots as I was incarcerated with my first child, my firstborn son, 16 years ago. And I had the privilege to receive for the first time in my life true services that were trauma-informed and from an agency that was already looking out, like the county is right now, and many of our community members who are coming together, who said, adverse childhood experiences are real, and we need to be looking for that. I met a woman by the name of Susanna Burke who said, "I heard you're pregnant and that you're going to have a little boy. And after you have your son, you could come to our program and we could do bonding and attachment visits." It's sad to say today that I had looked at her and I thought, in my mind, I thought, "You're going to hurt me in some way. I don't trust you. You look like everybody who has hurt me," whether that's been in the school system, whether it was in my community, and I didn't trust that. I didn't believe that. But she came back, and I started to receive bonding and attachment visits with my son, and I developed a trusting relationship in my community that when I was released, I had a place to come to from everything I held in my childhood, and the only way that wouldn't happen to my child. And in a gentle way, they were able to hold me and to tell me, "Frankie, do you know why you yell at your son? Where does that come from?" And I stood back and I started to think about my own experiences, and I only could learn that is through the trust that I felt in the way I was embraced. Later on, I was lucky enough to receive a job with PB&J, where I've worked for 11 and a half years, continuing to connect these dots as I've sat with many brave individuals who for the first time sometimes in their life have sat with me and have told me about the childhood molestation that they faced beginning from 5 to 13, the severe neglect and abuse as parties got out of control and someone ended up dead at their home, drug overdose. Many times we share these similar traumatic childhoods, and I'm able to give back what was given to me and to let them know you're not alone. And to let them know, how can we change this for our children? And then also going to school and reading studies about ACEs and sitting back and thinking, this is the final place where I connect the dots. It is true what they say. My mother had a triple bypass at 48 years old. As they say that, with all these events that occur, that a lot of times will affect your health, your mental health. Like I shared, my father died at a very young age. I've seen it play out through incarceration amongst my family who are good people. But research has known it for many years, but we've been the last to know. So I take it that it's not only, it's all of our duties to really to share with families what they've experienced and to sit with them in that place of supporting them and let them know that they're not alone and that they are resilient. And with support from a beautiful community like Bernalillo County, we can be better. We will be better. So I thank you so much for investing in our community, in the children, and in our families, and giving hope to those individuals who feel sometimes that there's not any. Thank you so much.